They know you are aware that they are running out of time. There is something you have noticed, a feeling that returns again and again, no matter how much you try to ignore it. You see things now that you did not see before. You understand more than you used to. And whether you speak about it or not, they know. They know that you are aware. And more than that, they know that they are running out of time. For a long time, things were easier to manage. Words could be used to shape your understanding. Actions could be explained in ways that made you question yourself instead of the situation. There was space for confusion, space for doubt, space for delay. And in that space, time could pass without real change. But something has shifted. You are no longer looking at things the same way. You are not accepting everything at face value. You are paying attention. You are connecting patterns, and that changes everything. Awareness does not arrive at once. It builds slowly. It grows through small moments. Things that did not make sense before, but now begin to stand clearly. A repeated behavior, a familiar reaction, a cycle that keeps returning even when it is explained differently each time. At first, you may have brushed it aside. You may have told yourself it was nothing. But now it is harder to ignore. Now it feels real. They can see that change in you. Even if you have not said anything directly, your behavior has changed. You pause more. You question more. You do not react the same way you used to. You are not easy to convince anymore, not as quick to accept explanations that do not fully make sense. You are no longer moving on without understanding. And that creates pressure. When someone depends on your silence, your confusion, or your patience without limits, your awareness becomes a problem for them. Not because you are doing anything wrong, but because you are no longer playing the same role. You are no longer filling the same space. And that is when you may begin to notice changes on their side as well. There may be more urgency in their words, more effort to explain, to justify, to control the direction of the conversation. There may be moments where they try to pull you back into old patterns, where things move quickly, where emotions are used to shift your focus, where clarity is replaced with pressure. This is not random. It is a response. Because time in this situation is not just about days or weeks. It is how long things can continue in the same way before they break. And when you become aware, they begin to shorten. The space for repeating the same pattern becomes smaller. The ability to avoid the truth becomes weaker. You may feel the tension without fully understanding. That conversation feels heavier. That reaction feels stronger. This is what happens when something that once was hidden begins to come into light. It does not stay calm. It shifts. Awareness is not a call to panic. It is not a signal to react with fear or anger. It is a signal to stay clear, to observe, to understand what is actually happening without rushing to conclusions or letting emotions take control. You are not powerless in this moment. In fact, this is where your power becomes more visible. Not power over others, but power over your own choices, your own responses, and your own direction. They may know you are aware. They may feel that time is running out, but what matters is what you do with that awareness. Because awareness without action can still keep you in the same place. It can still allow patterns to continue, just with more understanding and more frustration. So you must ask yourself simple, honest questions. What am I seeing clearly now that I did not see before? What patterns are repeating? What feels different in my understanding? And most importantly, what do I want to do with this clarity? There is no need to rush your answer. Clarity grows stronger when it is given time, but ignoring it will not make it disappear either. It will only make the situation heavier over time. You may feel a part of you that still wants things to stay the same way, that wants to believe that awareness alone will fix everything, that wants to avoid the discomfort of change. Yes, it is okay. Change is not easy, even when it is necessary, but staying in a pattern you clearly see does not protect you will only delay what you already understand. There is also something you must recognize. Awareness often changes how others respond to you. When you are no longer easy to guide, to control, or to influence in the same way, people notice. And not everyone will respond to that change in a calm or steady way. Some may try to bring things back to how they were. Some may increase pressure. Some may act as if nothing has changed, even when everything has. These responses are not always direct, but they are meaningful. They show you what happens on your lack of awareness and what cannot continue when you see clearly. But again, this is not about them. It is about you, your clarity, and your next steps. You do not need to prove that you are aware. You do not need to announce it. Awareness is not about showing others what you see. It is about quietly adjusting how to move forward. It is about choosing not to ignore what you understand. It is what you say and what you do that determines your new direction. You may begin to set small boundaries. You may begin to step back in certain moments. You may begin to question things instead of accepting them. These are not big dramatic actions, but they are powerful because they change the direction of the pattern. And as you do this, the situation will begin to reveal itself more clearly, without confusion, without layers of doubt. Things will either adjust in a real and steady way, or they will become more obvious in their pattern. Either way, you gain clarity. You are no longer standing in the same place you were before. You are not moving blindly. You are not reacting without understanding. You are aware, and that awareness changes how much time the situation has left in its current form. Because once something is clearly seen, it cannot continue in the same way forever. They know that you are aware, and in their own way, they know time is running out. But the most important question is not what they know. It is what you will choose to do now that you know it too. You can stay where you are, fully aware, and allow the pattern to continue for a while. Or you can begin to shift step by step with calm and clarity towards something different. There is no need for fear. There is no need for sudden action, but there is need for honesty with yourself.